everyone and welcome to my channel. So today's video is a video on my boyfriend George and his cancer story. So unfortunately he is no longer here to continue sharing his story. He had started it and I will link his YouTube channel down below, and he got 3 videos in, so I'll link that and you can watch those and see his side of the story and his point of view. I just wanted to make this video and this channel and maybe like a series, if you want to call it that, just about how it is from kind of my point of view, from the perspective of a partner, and how you can help a person going through a cancer diagnosis deal with it, and how kind of you might be feeling. So I just wanted to help with that. But first of all, I'm just going to kind of tell George's story and what happened, and kind of from my point of view. So I'll start off with an overview. And we met when we were 17 at college. At the point before his cancer journey started, we'd been together for about 2.5 years. It was about the summer of 2018 that we started to realise that he couldn't swallow food properly, he was getting indigestion, he was having acid reflux. He went to the doctors 4 times and no one picked anything up at all. They just thought it was just indigestion, the tablets weren't helping, nothing was really doing the trick. So it was November 2018, after being in pain for a couple of months, he'd lost a little bit of weight. So he decided to go private, and within 2 weeks of going private he'd seen a doctor, been referred to a specialist doctor who was a gastro doctor, and he'd had a barium swallow, which is like a white chalky powder that you kind of swallow and it follows down your esophagus, and they can see it on a camera and they can see like what's happening with it. So he had that on, I believe it was the Wednesday. He had an endoscopy on the Friday, and that's where there's a camera down your throat and they can kind of see what's going on. And that was the day that we found out, and it was, to this day I remember, 23rd of November 2018. We found out that he had a 4-inch tumour in the lower part of his esophagus going into his stomach. At this point they hadn't confirmed what it was, they just said, you've got a tumour, we've taken biopsies and we'll await the results. So I remember I was at work, it was the afternoon time, and I got a call from George and he was like, you need to come to my house, like you need to come back now. And I was like, why? What's wrong? And he was like, I can't tell you over the phone, you just need to come home. And I got to his house and his mum was there, but he wasn't back yet and he'd gone off with his dad to the appointment. And I remember his mum was like, what are you doing here? Are you not working today? Like, why are you here? And I was like, well, George told me to come here. We were just kind of waiting, and he walked through the doors and the first thing he said is, I've got a tumour. Those were the first words that he said as he walked through the door. And at that point everyone broke down. His mum, I did, George was upset, and his dad, who already had known about it, was upset. And we all sat down. His brother and sister then came over and they already knew about it as they'd had a call from George's dad. So we were all sat around the table and George wanted to go upstairs for a nap. So it had been a couple of hours since we'd kind of found out, and as soon as we walked up the stairs he went to me, I don't want to die. And those words are something I will never forget, because what are you meant to say to someone that says that to you? You just don't know what to say apart from feeling upset and distraught by those emotions. So that evening it was just a very sad evening. Had a little bit of dinner and pretty much went to bed, and that was it. He woke up the next day and he went for a CT scan just so they could see kind of where the tumour was within his body. And still, obviously the emotions of hearing that your 19-year-old boyfriend has a tumour is not something that you hear every day, and it's not something that you want to hear. And I hope that no one ever has to hear those words, ever, because it's horrible. It's upsetting. So I was quite in denial during this stage. We were waiting for the biopsy results, but obviously we didn't know what was going to happen with them yet. We didn't know what was going to come back. And I think the rest of George's family were kind of, they were certain. They knew that it was cancer. But I was telling myself, you know what, it might not be. People have tumours that aren't cancerous, they're just like fatty lumps, could be one of those. I was very in denial because he had a 4-inch tumour in his esophagus, like into his stomach. That's not gonna be non-cancer, looking back on it. So the following Friday, 30th of November 2018, we found out that he had stage 3B stomach cancer, and it was called, and I'm gonna mess up this because I can never say it, and it was called signet ring cell adasarcoma, I think. I've definitely fluffed up the saying of that. So I'll put it on the screen so you can read it and see, and you can do a little bit of research on it if you're interested. It's a highly malignant cancer, and it shapes in kind of the shapes of rings, hence where it gets the name signet ring cell from. So we were told by his doctor not to Google this cancer. So I didn't, I don't think any of his family did that I'm aware of, and George certainly didn't that I know of. And we didn't question as to why we shouldn't have Googled it. We just thought, you know, he's a doctor, he knows what he's doing. We won't look on Google. And on the 6th of December, he started his first chemotherapy treatment. He'd been told by his doctor he was going to have 3 rounds of treatment that were 3 weeks apart. So he was having a 9-week treatment, surgery, and then 9 more weeks. So the 9-week treatment started, and it was a mix of quite a few drugs. I'm not 100% sure what drugs they were, but if you watch George's video, I think he does say in his video what chemo he was put on. Luckily for him, he didn't get that many side effects. He only lost his hair and he felt nauseous. As chemotherapy goes, is quite a subtle side effect, because some people I know feel ill for days, they're in bed, they're throwing up constantly. He was still able to get up, go and do things and have days out, which was good for him because it helped him still feel like he lived a normal life and the reality of living with it. Whereas I think had he been in bed a lot of the time, he would have felt more unnormal for a teenage boy. So for him, that was a good thing that he could get up and go and do things and see his friends. So one of the things he then soon decided to start doing was he made an Instagram, and from day one that he made this Instagram, his mission was to help people, and he wanted to help other people that were going through difficult times, and he wanted to help. That's all he wanted to do. And it's not until after he'd passed that we actually realised how much of an impact he had on people he'd never met. People that he'd only spoken to once or twice were commenting on the post that we put up on his Instagram about him passing away. And they even said, I've only spoken to George once or twice, handful of times, and he made such a big impact on my life that if this video can just help 1 or 2 people, I'll be happy with that, because George helped so many and he was just such an amazing person, and he just did it out of the kindness of his heart, and that was it. He didn't make a big deal, he didn't tell anyone he was doing it. He would just message people, and even when he was having down days, he'd make sure he was there to talk to someone else who was having a down day. And I think that's just amazing and inspirational, really. If I have any advice for anyone that is going through a cancer diagnosis, or anyone that has got a family member going through a cancer diagnosis, positivity is the key. And without positivity, I honestly don't think George would have got as far as he did, and even his doctor said that. Because he was so positive and his outlook was so good, that he got through so many barriers that he shouldn't have done medically. And if you have someone that you know, or you're doing it yourself, every day that you wake up, and even to people that aren't going through anything and are just watching this to hear the story, every day you wake up, be thankful that you've woken up to live another day. And that's something that George would have told to anyone. He was so thankful for every day that he woke up, just because he, I guess you could say, he almost took life for granted before he got diagnosed, and then after he realised how special it was and how special life is, and appreciate every small little thing that you have, and be thankful that you're happy, you're healthy, and you're alive. So if I could give one piece of advice apart from being positive, if you're helping someone else go through it, each day that they don't feel great, if mentally that's the only thing that doesn't feel great, obviously if they're feeling unwell physically, just try and help them. Take them for a day out, take them somewhere so their mind can be distracted from what's going on. And I think that is a big key in helping people stay mentally positive throughout a cancer diagnosis, is distractions. It's something that can help them not feel like they literally just go out to the hospital to get their treatment and they come back home again and that's it. If you have the power to help someone in that way, then help them. So that's the end of this video. If you've got any questions, just let me know down below, or I will link my Instagram as well that I created on behalf of this. It's called Francesca's_perspective, and it's just because I wanted to make it purely to help other people, and it's also my perspective on the cancer journey and how everything has developed and gone on throughout the last couple of years. So if you've got any questions that you want to ask me for the next video, put them down below and I'll be happy to answer them in the video about surgery or about a cancer diagnosis in general. That's the end of this video. I'm hoping that this might have helped one person, maybe a couple, or you just got more of an insight into what it's like to find out that someone you love got cancer and the diagnosis within it. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.